Well, hello, dear aspirants, and welcome to Civil Star. So, guys, we're back with another session for UPSC Prelims 2021 for the subject English. So, guys, I hope your preparations are going well, and all of you are you know, assigning ample time to all the subjects carefully. Good afternoon, Soumya. Hello, Sujit. Good afternoon, dear. So, guys, if you can hear me and if the stream is live, just give me a thumbs up in the chat box and then we'll begin the session, guys. All right. Hello, Ritesh. Good afternoon, Soumya. Thanks, Sujit. Hello, Krishna. All right, guys. So let's go. Let's start with the homework passage. Guys, did you try the homework passage yesterday? What was the answer for this passage, guys? Hello, Zania. Good afternoon, dear. Welcome to the session. So we had to find which of the two statements was or were true. So let's read the passage and let's try to figure it out, guys. Foods travel more than the people who eat them. So he's saying food usually travel more than people who eat them. I mean, grocery stores and supermarkets are loaded with preserved and processed foods. This, however, often leads to environmental threats, such as pollution generated by long distance food transportation, wastage of food during the processing and transportation, destruction of rainforests, reduced nutritional content, increased demand for preservation and packaging. Food insecurity also increases the produce as the produce comes from regions that are not feeding their own population properly. So, which of the statements we just started just now, Bhushan? बस अभी शुरू हुआ है. So, guys, two statements were given, and we had to find which of the statements is true or false. So, first statement was consuming regionally grown food and not depending on long traveled food is a part of eco-friendly behavior. Guys, this was given in the last sentence. As the produce comes from regions that are not feeding their own population properly. So, food security also increases because of this. So, for example, some food is produced in some area and it is not consumed here, but it is rather exported to some other area for consumption. So, obviously, this would lead to environmental threats because all that processing and transportation and wastage during transportation and processing that leads to environmental threats. So, that is correct. And second statement was food processing industry puts a burden on our natural resources. That's also true. Environmental resources. Obviously, for example, if we are pollution generated by long distance food transportation, wastage of food, destruction of rainforest, right? Reduced nutritional content, increased demand for preservation and packaging. So this leads to a burden on natural resources. That's obviously true. So, guys, what do you say is the correct answer here? So, I think both the statements were correct here. So, correct option here was option number C. That was the homework passage that we discussed here. I mean, that I gave you yesterday. So, guys, let's move on to some new passages today. So, we'll try to solve these passages right here, right now. Got it? Yes, guys. So you have to participate, and everyone has to, share his answer, be it right or wrong. So let's start, guys. We have many passages today, as requested yesterday by many students. So we will be taking up 7, 8 passages today. So let's try the first one. Which among the following is the most logical corollary? So I told you yesterday, guys, corollary is implied truth, right? It's similar to inference. So what can be logically understood from the passage? That is what we call a corollary. Good afternoon, Gautam. Good afternoon, Dilshad. Chalo guys, so let's read the passage and let's try to solve it. Climate change is already making people hungry all over the world by disrupting crop yields and pushing up prices. So it is about climate change. So climate change is making many people hungry all over the world by disrupting crop yields and pushing up prices. And it is not just food, but nutrients that are becoming scarcer as the climate changes. So not just food, it is nutrients also which are becoming scarcer. It is the poorest communities that will suffer the worst effects of climate change, including increased hunger and malnutrition as crop production and livelihoods are threatened. On the other hand, poverty is a driver of climate change as desperate communities resort to unsustainable use of resources to meet current needs. So he's basically saying ये एक vicious circle हो गया cause and effect का, कि क्योंकि climate change हो रहा है इसलिए क्रॉप यील्ड्स गड़बड़ हो रही है, प्राइसेस बढ़ रहे हैं और दिस वुड लीड टू इंक्रीज्ड प्रॉब्लम ऑफ फूड सिक्योरिटी। और ये कॉन्सिक्वेंस भी बन गया क्योंकि ये सब हो रहा है, इसलिए लोग सबसे जो गरीब लोग हैं वो सबसे ज्यादा परेशान होने वाले हैं। और ऑन द अदर हैंड के गरीबी से ही क्लाइमेट चेंज पे भी बहुत इफेक्ट पड़ रहा है, क्योंकि जो गरीब लोग हैं वही अनसस्टेनेबल यूज ऑफ रिसोर्सेज करते हैं टू मीट देयर करंट नीड्स। सो वो कॉज और इफेक्ट बन रहा है यहाँ पे, अगर आप सही तरह से समझ रहे हो इसको गाइस। So let's see which of the following is the most logical corollary. Right, let's read out the options, guys. Government should allocate more funds to poverty alleviation programs and increase food subsidies to the poor communities. Poverty and climate change impacts reinforce each other, and therefore we have to reimagine our food systems. True. All the countries of the world unite in fighting poverty, malnutrition, and treat poverty as a global problem. Or we must stop unsustainable agricultural practices to control food prices. I think, guys, we can eliminate option number A, C, and D. How? This was not about government allocating more funds to poverty alleviation. Okay, this was about climate change and interdependence of climate change on poverty and poverty on climate change. So, so it was not about poverty, malnutrition, and poverty global problem or unsustainable agricultural practices. This was not that. So the correct option here was poverty and climate impacts reinforce each other, and therefore we have to reimagine our food systems. तो यही कह रहे पूरे पैसेज में कि गरीब लोग अनसस्टेनेबल यूज ऑफ रिसोर्सेज को यूज करते हैं, इसीलिए क्लाइमेट चेंज हो रहा है, और क्लाइमेट चेंज हो रहा है इसीलिए वो गरीब भी होते जा रहे हैं। वो कॉज एंड इफेक्ट वाली चीज हो रही है यहाँ पे। तो वंस यू स्टार्ट रीडिंग द पैसेज केयरफुली, गाइस, आपको अगर सही मतलब समझ आता है उसके अंदर, फिर ऑप्शंस को एलिमिनेट करना बड़ा आसान हो जाता है यहाँ पे, राइट। और अगर आप देख पा रहे हो तो हम 3-4 मिनट के अंदर बड़े आराम से एक पैसेज सॉल्व कर रहे हैं, डिस्कस करते हुए धीरे धीरे, बिल्कुल। तो जब आपकी एक्यूरेसी बन जाएगी, फिर देखना आप यही पैसेजेस विद इन 1 और 1 से 1.5 मिनट के अंदर आप ये क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर लोगे बड़े आराम से पेपर में। एंड इफ यू सॉल्व 25-30 odd questions like this, I mean it's very easy to crack this CSAT paper, right? Very well done, guys. A कैसे आया दिलशाद? B आएगा इसमें। It is a level up session or random? It is a level up session as well, Bhushan, because the level of difficulty of passages will keep on increasing and the number of passages will also increase, right? So that is it's not random. The level up is of difficulty. Now let's come to passage number 2, guys, right? And let's see if we can solve it. So the question was, which among the following is the most rational and critical inference, right? So inference is a logical fact that is given in the passage. So what critical inference can be made from the passage? So let's read the passage, guys. The Global Financial Stability Report finds that the share of portfolio investments from advanced economies in the total debt and equity investments in emerging economies has doubled in the past decade to 12%. So he's saying that Global Financial Stability Report has said that investment from advanced economies into emerging economies, that means developing economies, the investment in total debt and equity has doubled in the past decade. The phenomenon has implications for Indian policymakers as foreign portfolio investments in the debt and equity markets have been on the rise. So this has implications for Indian policymakers as the investment in Indian market has also increased. The phenomena is also flagged as a threat. ये एक threat भी है, मतलब इससे नुकसान भी हो सकता है. The phenomenon is also flagged as a threat that could compromise global financial stability in a chain reaction in the event of United States Federal Reserve's imminent reversal of its quantitative easing policy. तो ये कह रहे हैं कि मतलब एडवांस्ड इकोनॉमीज का इमर्जिंग इकोनॉमीज में इन्वेस्ट करना, क्योंकि ये डबल हो रहा है, पिछले 10 सालों में डबल हो चुका है, लेकिन ये फिनोमिना को एक थ्रेट भी कंसीडर किया जा रहा है, कंसिडरिंग कि अगर यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स फेडरल रिजर्व ने अपना रिवर्स कर दिया क्वांटिटेटिव ईजिंग जो पॉलिसी है, अगर उसको रिवर्स कर दिया जो इमिनेंट है, ठीक है, तो उससे क्या होगा कि स्टेबिलिटी जो है ये गड़बड़ा भी सकती है, चेन रिएक्शन हो सकता है जिसमें आगे फाइनेंशियल इंस्टेबिलिटी आ सकती है इन इमर्जिंग इकोनॉमीज. तो ये था इस पैसेज का अंडरस्टैंडिंग, राइट. अब पढ़ते हैं गाइस, व्हाट कुड बी द लॉजिकल इन्फ्रेंस. फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स आर नॉट गुड फॉर इमर्जिंग इकोनॉमीज. नंबर वन, advanced economies undermine the global financial stability. Okay, India should desist from accepting foreign portfolio investments in the future. All right, and emerging economies are at a risk of shock from advanced economies. Yes, guys, what is the most logical and critical inference that can be made from the passage? Now, it's a tricky one. The options are quite close, but ध्यान से पढ़ो गाइस कि वो क्या कन्वे करना चाह रहा है यहाँ से. So you say advanced economies undermine the global financial stability. Very good. Foreign portfolio investments are not good for emerging economies. That's not true, guys. That cannot be the logical inference. It is good because they're emerging economies, they need the money, right? India should desist from accepting foreign portfolio investments in the future. That's also a very extreme option, that it should not take any investments. That's not also possible, because they have to take investments, but they should think about stability. So we can eliminate A and C. Now guys, what do you think is the correct option, B or D? Advanced economies undermine the global financial stability, or emerging economies are at a risk of shock from advanced economies? Now guys, I think this was more about investment. So he started from the investment part. The advanced economies investment in emerging economies has doubled in the past decade, right? The phenomenon has implications for Indian policymakers as foreign portfolio investment in the debt and equity markets have been on the rise. The phenomenon is also flagged as a threat that could compromise global financial stability in a chain reaction. Now, they do not undermine, but it is about the problem is for emerging economies, because so much investment and after some reversal of policy in USA, it would lead to chain reaction instability. So this would actually affect not advanced economies, this would affect developing economies. So basically the logical inference, that is, it's not B guys, it's D. Advanced economies undermine the global financial stability. No, they do not. They'll not be affected because of it, but the effect will be on emerging economies. So the correct option here was not B, it was D, guys. Emerging economies are at a risk of shock. So as a threat, this is clearly given in the passage. So inferences, guys, some logical fact that is given in the passage. So advanced economies undermine the global financial stability. It is nowhere given in the passage, guys. See, that's why we discussed what's the difference between an inference. Now, this could be an assumption. that advanced economies undermine the global financial stability. This could be an assumption, but that's not an inference. Inference is something logical that is given in the passage. Right? That's why I always ask you to read the question very carefully. All right. So correct option here is option number D, guys. Chalo. Moving on. Next passage, guys. Okay. Which among the following is the most critical inference that can be made? Again, we have to find some inference from the passage. Got it? So let's read the passage, guys. Open defecation is disastrous when practiced in very densely populated areas. So open defecation is, I think everybody knows, खुले में शौचालय करना, शौच करना. So open defecation is disastrous when practiced in very densely populated areas where it is impossible to keep away human feces from crops, wells, food and children's hands. Right? Obviously, agar densely populated area or wahan pe open defecation, it is actually quite dangerous because it is impossible to keep it away from crops, wells, food and children's hands. Groundwater is also contaminated by open defecation. Many ingested germs and worms spread diseases. They prevent the body from absorbing calories and nutrients. Nearly one half of India's children remain malnourished. Lakhs of them die from preventable conditions. Diarrhea leaves Indians' bodies smaller on average than those of people in some poorer countries where people eat fewer calories. So that also leads to stunting, basically, guys. Underweight mothers produce stunted babies prone to sickness who may fail to develop their full cognitive potential. And the germs released into environment harm rich and poor alike, even those who use latrines. So this is about the implications and consequences of open defecation. Right? कैसे कितने प्रभाव कितने बुरे असर होता है. So what is the logical and critical inference that can be understood from the passage? Now let's read the options, guys. The central and state governments in India do not have enough resources to afford a latrine for each household. Open defecation is the most important public health problem of India. Open defecation reduces the human capital of India's workforce. And open defecation is a public health problem in all developing countries. What do you say, guys? Guys, I can clearly eliminate option number A and D. Central government, it was nothing, nowhere it was talked about government. And again, D, open defecation is a public health problem in all developing countries. It was nowhere mentioned that we are talking about developing countries. Yeah, they did mention about India, but not about developing countries. So we can eliminate option number A and D. Out of B and C, open defecation is the most important public health problem of India, or open defecation reduces the human capital of India's workforce. Now, guys, this makes it extreme. Guys, please, we have discussed this, that extreme options को कभी भी आंसर नहीं बनाना. कहाँ पे लिखा है कि open defecation is the most important public health problem? There are many other problems, public health problems, sanitization, right? Food security, I don't know what not. So it is nowhere mentioned that this is the most important public health problem, but open defecation reduces the human capital of India's workforce. That's true, right? Lakhs of them die from preventable conditions. This is given in the passage. So, Sumya, workforce is kids who could not grow up. So everybody is human capital. Every human being is a human capital for the country. So when he grows or she grows, he is going to be the part of workforce in India, Sumya. I hope you understand the people are workforce. So children who could not, who could not live or who, who are stunted, they'll not be able to support or, work with the workforce of the country. That is, people of the country. Guys, they will use some different word, but the meaning would be same. So that's why the correct option here is option number C. Proper defecation reduces the human capital of India's workforce. It leads to so many problems, right? Malnourishment, deaths, right? Stunted bodies, stunted kids, then mothers dying because of this. So that is the problem. So that's how it leads to reduction of human capital. समझ आया Somya? Very well done, guys. So correct option was not B, it was C. Good job, guys. Chalo, moving on to the next passage. Which of the following statements best sums up the above passage? So we have to find the correct, the central theme, the summary of the passage. Okay. So, all right. Good job, guys. Chalo, let's read the passage and let's try to solve it. We generally talk about democracy when it comes to any particular thing. We prefer a belonging to our caste or community or religion. We generally talk about democracy, but when it comes to any particular thing, we prefer a belonging to our caste or community or religion. देखो वैसे तो हम डेमोक्रेसी की बात करते हैं, सबको बराबर हक होना चाहिए, लेकिन जब कोई पर्टिकुलर चीज की बात आती है फिर हिंदू मुस्लिम हो जाते हैं या जात पात पे आ जाते हैं, ये कह रहा है वो. So long as we have this kind of temptation, our democracy will remain a phony. Phony होता है झूठा, ठीक है, जो दिखने में कुछ और एक्चुअली में कुछ और. तो जब तक हमें ऐसी टेम्पटेशन रहेंगी तो हमारी डेमोक्रेसी ऐसे ही झूठी बनी रहेगी. विल रिमेन अ फोनी काइंड ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी. We must be in a position to respect a man as a man and to extend opportunities for development to those who deserve them and not to those who happen to belong to our community or race. तो कह रहे हैं कि भाई हमें ऐसा होना चाहिए डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री में रहते हुए कि हम एक इंसान को इंसान की तरह समझे और अपॉर्चुनिटी सबको बराबर मिले, ना इस बेसिस पे मतलब उनके डिजर्व करते हैं वो उनको अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिले, ना कि ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ वो किस धर्म से है, किस जात से है, उस बेसिस पे. This fact of favoritism has been responsible for much discontent and ill will in our country. ये जो भाई भतीजावाद है या जात पातवाद है, फेवरेटिज्म, ये हमारे कंट्री में बहुत डिस्कंटेंट और इल विल लेके आया है. So what is the proper summary of this passage? Let's read it out, guys. Our country has a lot of diversity with many castes, communities, and religions. True democracy could be established by providing equal opportunities to all. Okay, so far none of us have actually understood the meaning of democracy. Okay? And it will never be possible for us to establish true democratic governance in our country. Guys, D तो मैं यहीं से एलिमिनेट कर सकता हूँ. नेवर, एक्सट्रीम ऑप्शन हो गया. ए भी मैं एलिमिनेट कर सकता हूँ. डाइवर्सिटी की बात नहीं कर रहा है वो, यहाँ तो वो फेवरेटिज्म की बात कर रहा है. So guys, how can we sum up the passage? True democracy could be established by providing equal opportunities to all. Yeah, so far none of us have actually understood the meaning of democracy. Yes, very well done, guys. So the correct option here is option number B. Not about understanding democracy. We have understood democracy, but we favor, a belongingness to our caste. So ये जो bias है ना, ये कह रहा है, उसकी बात कर रहा है. तो ट्रू डेमोक्रेसी तभी आ पाएगी जब सबको बराबर अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिल पाएंगी. Irrespective of what religion, what caste they belong to, right? Absolutely. So correct option is option number B, guys. Good job. Chalo, guys, moving on to the next passage. अब इस पे दो questions हैं. I think so. Yes. चलो, let's see क्या क्या है. With reference to the above passage, consider the following statements. तो एक तो हमें दो statements दी हैं, उनका बताना है कि कौन सी इन दोनों statements में से correct है या false है. और दूसरा है what is the crucial message conveyed in the passage. क्या message convey हुआ है इस passage में, ये करना है. ठीक है. चलो guys, let's read the passage. The existence or establishment of formal financial institutions that offer safe, reliable, and alternative financial instruments is fundamental in mobilizing savings. Okay, formal financial institutions जैसे banks, यार जब तक banks होंगे ही नहीं जो कि एक safe, reliable और alternative financial instruments provide करते हैं, तब तक savings हो ही नहीं पाएंगी. So वो क्या कह रहे हैं, the existence or establishment of formal financial institutions that offer safe, Reliable and alternative financial instruments is fundamental in mobilizing savings. To save, individuals need access to safe and reliable financial institutions such as banks, and to appropriate financial instruments and reasonable financial incentives. So, to save, people need banks, and to appropriate financial instruments and reasonable financial incentives. Such access is not always available to all people in developing countries like India, and more so in rural areas. So, access to banks is not available in developing countries like India, and especially in rural areas. Savings help poor households manage volatility in cash flow, smoothen consumption, and build working capital. गरीब घरों में सेविंग्स बहुत काम आती है. वो कैश फ्लो को स्मूथ कर देती है, सेविंग्स बनाती है, कंजम्पशन को स्मूथ करती है और वर्किंग कैपिटल को बिल्डअप कर देती है. Poor households without access to a formal savings mechanism encourage immediate spending temptations. अब सही बात है, गरीब के घर मतलब गरीब के पास अगर बैंक नहीं होगा पैसा रखने को, तो जो पैसे घर में रखे हैं वो रोज चिंता की बजाय उन्हें कहीं ना कहीं खर्चने में टेम्प्ट हो जाएगा. तो क्या कह रहे हैं इससे, ये चीज मतलब टेम्पटेशन भी हो जाती है अपने सेविंग्स को कहीं ना कहीं खर्च कर देने की. तो क्या कह रहे हैं कि फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस की अवेलेबिलिटी होना बहुत जरूरी है हमारी कंट्री में. लेट्स रीड द क्वेश्चंस नाउ गाइस. First is, Indian financial institutions do not offer any financial instruments to rural households to mobilize their savings. And second is, poor households tend to spend their earnings or savings due to lack of access to appropriate financial instruments. Very well done, guys. So I think ये हम first option यहाँ eliminate कर सकते हैं. देखो, Indian financial institutions do not offer any financial instrument. That is not true. They are saying they should be available, but ये कहीं नहीं दिया है कि वो इंडियन फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस नहीं करते हैं रूरल हाउस होल्ड्स को. ऐसा नहीं दिया. वो क्या कह रहे हैं, करना चाहिए. सच एक्सेस इज नॉट ऑलवेज अवेलेबल. सी, नॉट ऑलवेज का मतलब क्या होता है कि कहीं कहीं पे मिल जाती है लेकिन सारी जगह नहीं मिलती. लेकिन यहाँ पे क्या दिया है उसने कि कहीं पे भी नहीं मिलती. तो फर्स्ट को हम एलिमिनेट कर सकते हैं एंड सेकंड इज करेक्ट. ये इसने लास्ट लाइन में दिया है, पुअर हाउसहोल्ड्स टेंड टू स्पेंड देयर अर्निंग्स due to lack of access to appropriate financial instruments. So correct option is 2 only. Very well done, guys. So the correct option here is option number B. Very good, guys. Now let's read the second passage. Let's read the second question, guys. What is the crucial message conveyed by the passage? Establish more banks, increase the GDP growth rate, increase the interest rate of bank deposits, or promote financial inclusion. What do you say, guys? Very well done. मुझे पहले ए लग रहा था लेकिन प्रमोट फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन, दैट इज द मैसेज कन्वेड है. सबको फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन, फाइनेंशियल गैमेट के अंदर लेके आना चाहिए गवर्नमेंट को. So that is why this passage was given. So it was the requirement of financial inclusion. So we should promote financial inclusion. So very well done, guys. Chalo, moving ahead. Let's read this passage, guys, and let's try to solve it. Which among the following is the most logical assumption? Now this is a different question, guys. Now we have to find assumption here. What can be assumed from the passage? Let's read the passage, guys. Governments may have to take steps which would otherwise be an infringement on the fundamental rights of individuals, such as acquiring a person's land against his will or refusing permission for putting up a building. But the larger public interest for which these are done must be authorized by people. That means parliament, right? Discretionary powers to the administration can be done away with. It is becoming more and more difficult to keep this power within limits as the government has many number of tasks to perform. Where discretion has to be used, there must be rules and safeguards to prevent misuse of that power. Systems have to be devised which minimize, if not prevent, the abuse of discretionary power. Government work must be conducted within a framework of recognized rules and principles and decisions should be similar and predictable. Yes. तो क्या कहना चाह रहा है? देखो, वैसे तो गवर्नमेंट के कुछ स्टेप्स जो हैं वो किसी के मौलिक अधिकार पे इन्फ्रिंजमेंट कह सकते हैं उनको। जैसे कि अगर आप रोड बनाने के लिए अगर आप किसी की जमीन को एक्वायर करती है गवर्नमेंट, तो वो उसकी जमीन है, वो चाहे चाहे तो ना दे, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट फिर भी एक्वायर कर लेती है क्योंकि डिस्क्रेशनरी पावर है अपनी सरकार के पास, राइट। लेकिन वो अब क्या कह रहे हैं कि डिस्क्रेशनरी पावर्स को ना मिसयूज भी बहुत किया जाता है, ठीक है, उनकी लिमिट्स होनी चाहिए। और गवर्नमेंट को कुछ ऐसा फ्रेमवर्क बनाना चाहिए ताकि इनका ना जो अब्यूज है डिस्क्रिशनरी पावर का वो ना हो पाए, और एक फ्रेमवर्क के अंडर काम हो, और जो डिसीजंस है वो सिमिलर और प्रिडिक्टेबल होने चाहिए, ये नहीं किसी के लिए कुछ और दूसरे के लिए कुछ और। So let's try to see what is the most logical assumption that can be made from this passage, guys. First is government should always be given wide discretionary power in all matters of administration. No, I don't think so. That's true. The supremacy of rules and safeguards should prevail as opposed to the influence of exclusive discretion of authority. Yes. Parliamentary democracy is possible only if the government has wider discretionary power. No. This is an extreme option. None of the above statements is logical assumption that can be made from the passage. Yes, guys. In all matters of administration, this is also extreme. Only, this is also extreme. So what do you say, B or D? I think it is option number B. The supremacy of rules and safeguards should prevail. कि लोगों के rules और safeguards को ज़्यादा importance मिलनी चाहिए as opposed to influence of exclusive discretion of authority. ये authority के पास power क्या है वो ज़्यादा influential नहीं होनी चाहिए, ज़्यादा influential जो उनके safeguards और rules हैं जो लोगों को protect करते हैं वो ज़्यादा मायने रखने चाहिए. So very well done, guys. Correct option here was option number B. Good job. चलो गाइज, आज के लिए लास्ट पैसेज करते हैं। 7-8 पैसेजेस हो गए। कल आप सबने रिक्वेस्ट किया था सर ज़्यादा पैसेजेस लेके आइए, तो मैं ज़्यादा पैसेजेस लेके आया हूँ, थोड़े डिफिकल्ट भी थे, और फिर इसके बाद एक होमवर्क पैसेज भी दूंगा आपको, ठीक है। बट अगर आपने अब तक सेशन को लाइक नहीं किया है तो यार ये तो गलत बात है। सेशन को लाइक कर दीजिए प्लीज़, इतना तो कर ही सकते हैं यार, इतने एफर्ट्स डालते हैं हम आप सबके लिए। शुभम, सबके नाम ले लेता हूँ यार, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, जिसने सही आंसर दिया है। तो इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर किस किसने ठीक दिया था? सौम्या, वेरी वेल डन। शुभम, भूषण, दिलशाद, पूजा, गौतम। Okay guys, let's read it. With reference to the above passage, which of the following statements is or are true? So हमें statements को true और false बताना है, तो let's read the passage first, guys. ये तो हमने आज ही किया है शायद ना, पर ये तो हम प्लीज यूज ब्लैक कलर इन राइटिंग पैसेज। ओके, श्योर श्योर श्योर, मुझे वो हो जाएगा, दैट आई कैन डू। ये पैसेज तो हमने यार आज शायद होमवर्क पैसेज में किया था ना, सो आई थिंक वी कैन स्किप दैट। चलो guys, ये होमवर्क पैसेज है फिर आपका, ठीक है। चलो आज इतना ही कर रहे हैं। आई नो दिस इज अ रिपीटेड क्वेश्चन, सो मैं तो मुझे भी अभी ध्यान आया। चलो, दिस इज योर होमवर्क पैसेज जो आपने होमवर्क से करना है, ठीक है। चलो, एंड आई विल डिस्कस दिस पैसेज इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन। चलो guys, तो कैसा लगा यार आपको सेशन ये? Did you, I mean, was it useful for you or not? Was it fruitful? Did you learn how to tackle questions? So guys, if you wish to contact us, you can give us a call on this number 81462 on your screen, 07241, or you can also drop us an email, hello@civilstaff.com. अरे अपना स्कोर तो बताओ यार सच्ची। भूषण 7 out of 7, गुड जॉब यार, क्लैपिंग फॉर यू भुवन। हाँ सॉरी भूषण, अपना स्कोर तो बताओ सब यार। सौम्या 5 out of 6, not bad सौम्या। Yes guys, yes शुभम, आई विल डू दैट, बट वो धीरे धीरे बिल्डअप करना पड़ेगा ना। वो अभी मैं अलग अलग तरह से आई ट्राई टू फिक्स अप ऑल द पैसेजेस, एंड आई ट्राई टू मेक इट इन डिफरेंट वर्टिकल्स। अभी लेवल 2 पे भी आएंगे, लेवल 3 पे भी आएंगे, डोंट वरी। बट एक बार बेस बिल्डअप हो जाए, लेट मी बी श्योर कि आपकी जो एक्यूरेसी है वो बन रही है। वंस आई एम श्योर विद दैट, देन आई विल स्विच टू द डिफिकल्ट पार्ट और द डिफरेंट स्टेजेस ऑफ दिस। कोई बात नहीं शुभम, दैट्स ओके। 6 is not bad. So may I have 4? Okay, Dilshad 4. Okay, not bad. चलो गाइस, जो नहीं बता रहे हैं अपने अपना स्कोर, कोई बात नहीं, दैट्स ओके, परफेक्टली ऑलराइट। चलो गाइस, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग इन। आई होप दिस वाज यूजफुल फॉर योर प्रिपरेशन। तो आई होप आपको अच्छा लगा हो, पढ़ के कुछ सीखने को भी मिला हो कि यार अच्छा कैसे वहाँ पे ट्रिक करता है ऑप्शंस में। तो गाइस, धीरे धीरे वी विल build up our we'll build up the level of passages, as well as we'll build up the duration of this session as well. Got it? Right. Thank you so much. सर, स्कैट के आरसी में भूषण आपको ना क्वेश्चंस ऐसे ही मिलते हैं, लेकिन उनमें आपको थोड़ा सा वर्बल एबिलिटी, जिसको हम बोलते हैं कि वर्बल एबिलिटी पे ज़्यादा फोकस करता है। उनमें क्वेश्चंस बहुत ज़्यादा इन्फ्रेंस बेस्ड, या जैसे हम बोलते हैं कॉरलरी, उनके बहुत टिपिकल क्वेश्चंस होते हैं। जैसे कि आपको स्टेटमेंट्स दी होंगी, स्टेटमेंट्स को फिर पढ़ के आपको उनमें से इन्फ्रेंस अलग निकालना होगा, कंक्लूजन अलग निकालना होगा। बट यहाँ पे आपको पैसेजेस दिए होते हैं, ठीक है, तो वो डिफरेंस रहता है। और दूसरा, इसमें जो पैसेजेस का डिफरेंस रहता है, कैट में जो पैसेजेस होते हैं वो थोड़ा सा स्टैटिक या फिर बेस्ड ऑन इकोनॉमी या फाइनेंस होते हैं। यहाँ पे यूपीएससी में जो मेरी ऑब्जर्वेंस है, यहाँ पे जो पैसेज है वो थोड़ा सा सोशल और रूरल एरिया से ज़्यादा कनेक्टेड रहते हैं। मतलब सोशल चेंजेस और सोशल प्रॉब्लम्स या इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशल प्रॉब्लम्स, इश्यूज जो होते हैं उन पे ज़्यादा बेस्ड रहते हैं। कैट का थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट डिफिकल्ट नहीं होता भूषण। डिफिकल्ट तो यार आपके मन में है सब कुछ, ये डिफिकल्ट नहीं होता, इट्स डिफरेंट ऑल टुगेदर। उनके टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चनिंग एंड टाइप ऑफ आंसरिंग थोड़ा अलग होता है। यहाँ पे आपकी कॉम्प्रिहेंशन एबिलिटी को देखा जाता है, वहां पे आपकी क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस को चेक किया जाता है। दैट्स द डिफरेंस, राइट? चलो, so I'll see you again next week on Thursday and Friday, same time at 12 noon, and we will discuss some different passages from some different previous year, right? Chalo guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining, and happy learning to all of you.